Now I'm going to move on to the other parts of registration. So add drop and waiting lists. It's important to note that you're not out of luck if you get to the end of bidding and you haven't gotten the full schedule that you want or the courses that you want. You still have the opportunity during add drop and waiting lists to build a schedule that you want or to, get into a specific course that you want. So add drop is obviously for courses with seats available. It opens shortly after bidding is over, but you don't have to participate if you got the schedule you want from bidding. You're all set. And let me back up for a second. This also goes for bidding when you are, you're participating in round 1 of bidding and you get what you want. You don't need to go on and participate in round 2 if you have what you want. So just like an add drop, you do not need to participate if you have the schedule that you want. Points are only for the bidding process. Like I said earlier, points are not charged or refunded in the add drop process, so no points are exchanged in add drop. If you use all of your points, and again, I want to emphasize this does not usually happen. This has actually not happened in the history of the bidding system, but since students always ask, I like to answer. If you were to use all of your points, then you would need to use add drop and waiting lists in order to register for all of your classes. Add drop is done through My Access under the same registration tab as bidding. Make sure that you're operating in the correct term. So for example, spring 2015, summer 2015, you just want to make sure that you're actually in the term within My Access that you are meaning to add and drop for. Waiting lists. While add drop is for courses that have seats available, waiting lists are for courses that have already filled. The only way to get a seat in a class with a waiting list is to win a seat off of the waiting list. Going to the professor or to your advisor directly to ask them for a seat is not permitted, and professors are aware of this. When you do not win a seat in bidding, you're not automatically placed on the waiting list for that course. So definitely important to note, you must add yourself to the waiting list if you don't if you don't win a seat during bidding and you want to, make sure that you're on the waiting list, you need to place yourself on the waiting list. Should you win a seat off of the list, you will be notified by email and have 24 hours to respond to that email and take the seat. If you don't respond, you won't be registered for the course and you will lose your seat. Special registrations. These are courses such as tutorials, cross-registration, and other programs and certificates around Georgetown. Most special registration courses are not confirmed until much later in the process. So it's important for you to get a full MSB schedule here during bidding. And then if you end up doing a special registration course of any kind, you can drop your regular MSB electives or ILEs later, and then be registered for the special registration course. You should talk to your advisor with more questions about the special registration process. Now I want to explain a little bit about credit loads and overloading. Full-time students are set at 4 courses per mod during bidding, so everyone gets a chance at a full schedule. And then they can take 5 courses per mod optionally after bidding. So if you'd like to take 5 classes, let your advisor know and they'll raise your credit max to be able to do so during add drop. It's important to note that 5 courses in a mod is not an overload. 6 courses in a mod is, however, an overload, subject to the policy listed below, and you can read through. For EPs, 2 courses per mod is the normal load. 3 courses per mod is an overload, subject to the policy, again, listed below. Now I'm going to go through a little bit about next steps in the registration and bidding process. It's really important for you to take a look over the documents available on OrgSync. on the registration page. You should definitely make sure that your calendars are marked for bidding, add drop, and waiting lists. If you use the cohort calendars, they're on there as well. You can think about your overall course plan, what you want to take, using the MBA Anticipated Elective Course Offerings document, course descriptions, course videos, faculty bios. Don't forget to check seating availability in the second rounds or subsequent rounds of bidding when there may be just a couple of spots left in certain courses. Remember, in those instances, you're more likely to spend the full amount of points that you bid. So take a look at that and bid wisely. Seating is also available in My Access after each round of bidding. Don't forget about add drop waiting lists. There may be a very popular course you're interested in, and you might want to use the waiting list rather than spend many of your points on the class. Even popular courses do have waiting list movement, so that may be a strategy for you to get into a popular course. Definitely see your advisor, again, with any questions that you have about any of this. All the advisors are very knowledgeable on the system and can kind of walk you through the system or course plan and talk about courses that you may want to take. And remember, as I said above, that that the course registration page on OrgSync is a really great resource for all of the documents that you need, all of the links that you need through the registration and bidding process, including very detailed schedules of when you're bidding. Thank you for joining me.